and welcome to Blackwood N-Gauge layout. Over the past few weeks I have managed to complete more or less the tidying up of the wiring which was taking place on one side of the layout. I've now received back some wagons from Rainbow Railways who have weathered them, and I have started to make plans on altering the track layout on the lower fiddle yard. So without further ado, let's get into the video and I'll show you what I've been up to. Since late last year I have been building a rake of 102 tonne TEA Class A bogie tank wagons in BP green, which are made by Graham Farish. The wagons, as they come new, they are very green and they have some bright yellow sole bars at the top of the bogies. So I asked Rainbow Railways if they could actually weather these wagons, and I have actually now just received the wagons back from Rainbow Railways. So let's open up and let's see what the weathering looks like. So there is one of the 8 wagons that I asked Rainbow Railways to weather, and what a fantastic job they have actually made of these wagons. I've looked at one or two of the other wagons and you wouldn't say they were all identical. There's all subtle differences between them, so doesn't look as though it's been factory produced in terms of the weathering. But I am absolutely delighted with the weathering that Rainbow Railways provided for me. And I will certainly, I would recommend them. You may have to wait 5 or 6 weeks because they are very, very busy, but excellent service. They took the wagons from me actually at one of the exhibitions, and then they emailed me, I think it was about 5 weeks later, to say the wagons were in actual fact ready. So I am delighted, as I knock that wagon over, I'm delighted at the way in which these wagons have been weathered. So the best thing now is to actually get all 8 wagons out and get them on the track, and let's have a look at the train actually running round. Unfortunately I probably don't have a weathered engine to pull them. That'll probably be the next thing I'll need to go back to Rainbow Railways to ask them if they can do that for me, but I'm sure they will. But there we go, that's the Farish 102 tonne TEA BP liveried or unbranded BP liveried bogie tank wagons. So let's get on the track and let's see them running. Quick update on the tidying up of the wiring underneath the side of the layout. The main point is all the reams of wire that were held together by cable ties which ran along these beams here have all gone. So there's none on here, and similarly there's none on this beam here, and on the third beam along there there's just a couple of wires rather than a massive loom of wires. As you can see, I have used literally probably well over 100 of these West Hill Wagon Works mini management clips to actually put the wires all together, to keep them all together. They're all much neater, and as you can see, I think I showed in one of the earlier clips, I've labelled a lot of the wires so that I know what these wires actually do, especially the pink and the brown wires, because they are control wires. So again, it's been done right the way round here. There's a lot of wiring has been taken out because I discovered that I had some duplicate wiring, but as you can see, it's all been done. And similarly, the wiring actually carries on underneath this other baseboard here. Again, the wiring has been tidied up. In fact, there's very little wiring now under, this is the baseboards under the station. So this has taken me around 3 months to do. It's been a long time, but I think it's well worth it, and it should hopefully make fault finding a lot easier. So that is job number 1, which I say it's taken me 3 months to do, but that's it out the way. I am planning to make some alterations to the lower fiddle yard, or to the entrance / exit to the lower fiddle yard. The camera is currently pointing down at a set of crossovers that were put in when I initially built the helix. They were put in following comments that were put on some of my videos, where people had said that the trains really should be going up the outside of the helix. Now, this helix was obviously built after the layout, and the trains unfortunately have got to go up to be in the correct tracks. They actually have to go up the inside track, or inside track on the helix. Now, to be honest with you, the trains do go up the inside of the helix without any problem at all. Even the longest freight trains can go up. And when this was built, there was no Revolution trains class 59s or class 66s, and these locomotives are extremely heavy and they can pull an amazing load up the helix. So the 2 points that the camera is currently looking at, they have caused me quite a few problems. Trains do derail on them because they are short radius points. I have actually only just noticed that there is actually a slight kink in this part here where the line joins the 2 points. It's very slightly kinked, which obviously doesn't help when trains are crossing from one line to the other. And the other thing is, although they are controlled from the control panel, there are obviously point motors there. These 2 points operate in conjunction with the 2 points which are at the top of the helix, so that when trains cross from one side to the other, when they get to the top, they can cross back over onto the right line. I can very rarely ever get all 4 points to fire in one go. They are all wired together. There is a capacitor discharge, and there should be enough power to move all 4 points. Reality is that you always get the 2 points at the top of the helix moving, but only one of these 2 points at the bottom moves, and it's a bit of a pain in the backside, to be honest with you. So I have made the decision that I'm going to remove these points. I'll leave the 2 points at the top of the helix, they're not doing any harm, but I will remove these 2 points. Now, once I have removed these 2 points here, it will allow me to make some alterations to the way in which the tracks come into the inner helix. The inner helix are those first 4 tracks that you can see there. You can see there's a curved point been put in there, so essentially the track's going to be not straightened out, it's going to actually follow the outer helix track from the helix, and it will come round, it will join onto that curved point, will actually be a new curved point, and then the 4 tracks will then flow from that curved point. So in effect, I'm reversing the lengths of loops here. The track which is right in the foreground is the longest of the inner helix tracks. Well, that will actually transfer to the outside, and then everything will just reverse round, so I'm not losing any storage space. It's just changing slightly. It will also give me space at the front here to possibly put in a siding for additional storage. And similarly on the outer helix, which I don't know if you can pick this up, I'll move the camera a little bit. Now, this is quite difficult to film. If I zoom in a bit, you'll see the wagons at the extreme right hand side there, and you'll see that that loop starts at the point, and that point is on the other board. Why I never put the point in after the point beside the log wagons, I don't actually know. So the point needs to be moved over onto this front board, and then the track extended round, which will give me a longer loop. And at the same time, if I want to, there's plenty of room down here where I could actually have another siding. So as I say, there is some track realignment work to go on under here, and that's probably my next job.
So as we watch the class 59 weave its way over the point work here, that brings the running session to an end. So I hope you have enjoyed watching trains on Blackwood end gauge layout, and I will catch you all very, very soon with another update. And remember, please like and subscribe. Thanks very much for watching, and bye for now.